played Jarvan in both the games, though. Do you need to take that away?
I think you first pick it.
You first pick it, you put it on Amazing, give him that Jarvan to try and carry it from the jungle. It's not something he's played in a huge amount, or you could always put it onto Kikis in the top lane as well.
Yeah, I mean, everyone can play Jarvan. Like, mechanically, he's not the most difficult champion. With Tristana being removed as well, that is another potential first pick. So this, to me, screams Jarvan first pick. And then they log in like a Z or something, and we're just like, oh, okay.
All right, NIP still have the Rakan that was banned out in the last game. If that happens, they don't have the Xayah Rakan.
Exactly. That's why Monkeys don't have to be too afraid of Xayah Rakan as a combination. Galio, of course, could be a contested pick as well, but I really feel like Jarvan is the one, and NIP agree, so they're like, ha! We see your bans, you ban Elise, you ban Gnar, you ban Tristana, like, smells like a Jarvan first pick, and now Mysterious Monkeys get a Rakan. And while I do love Rakan, I think without Xayah, he's not first pick worthy.
It's also the first time the Dreams will have played it. Oh, no, he's played it 7 times. I missed him on my little sheet here. He's played him 7 times, so it's not the first time.
He's not played anything at all. Where is he?
I can't even see Dreams on my list. But yeah,
7 and 0.
They're very close. They're very close numbers. NIP will pick the Morgana to answer the Rakan, and now looking for their second pick. Jungle is a possibility, AD carry as well.
Yeah, Gragas is still available, which has also been a very contested choice. AD carry-wise, Caitlyn has not really been a go-to pick for either of these AD carries. So we might just see NIP say, take the Gragas, be happy with that. And then you can actually, for the next one for Nagne, potentially pick his mid laner and see if you can ban out CozQ again and get Nagne in a good matchup. There's a high chance that Zia could be banned in the second phase if Mysterious Monkeys feel like they can't really deal with it. But they're not stacking tanks just yet. They're stacking a lot of engage instead, and Zac comes in.
Just trying to copy the composition that we saw from NIP in the first game. Ashe and Rakan, the Zac as well. A crowd control jungler with heavy engage. NIP now, as you say, perhaps looking towards their mid lane.
Yeah, but NIP so far actually have pretty good disengage with the Black Shield and even the Gragas ulti. So if they get a really strong backline, they can actually keep them pretty safe with the 2 champions they've locked in so far. They do go for the Syndra blind here for NIP, but they have 2 bans as well. And again, if you get a HeaQ on one of these AD carries, they can deal a lot of late game damage. The Black Shield with Ardent Sensor is going purely towards him. Then they're obviously, of course, saying, we will protect you, and then you will kill whoever is in front of you.
It hasn't really been the way that NIP have been drafting up until now, though. They haven't been putting HeaQ as their primary carry. It's been more Nagne and Prophet.
That's very true. Game 1 a little bit, but obviously it was a lot about what Prophet could do as a split pusher, so I think it is a fair statement in that regard to say it wasn't just about HeaQ. Against, obviously, the LCS teams the last few weeks, we did see more and more focus on HeaQ specifically.
And we've seen AD carry ban focus here. You've already removed Kalista, Gnar, Tristana, Varus, Ashe is taken off the cards, Xayah's taken off the cards. Where are you looking if you're NIP?
I mean, it might be one of the games where you go for a late game hyper carry, like things like Twitch would be available. Obviously with Ashe Varus being taken away, Caitlyn is still there. And she's not that bad that you can't take Caitlyn. If it's like, oh, worst case, I guess we have to settle for Caitlyn. Some teams will still be happy with that.
Right, Giants were happy with it. Mini Trueplace did a great job on their Caitlyn.
And it is open now.
Camille banned away by the Mysterious Monkeys, respecting that last pick opportunity that we have seen across the course of the last 2 games.
And with Gnar being banned away and Jarvan being banned away, I feel like it is just lock in your AD carry here and then last pick for Prophet in the end, unless he wants Renekton. But it seems like it is one of those hyper carry choices they are looking at. And again, you have disengage with Gragas Morgana to try and keep HeaQ safe.
I am super unsure about this pick. Yes, you've got a bit of disengage, but you're playing into an Ashe, a Rakan, a Zac. Like, the ability to get on a backline hyper carry is so easy for this Mysterious Monkeys team.
Worst case, there is a strategy. It's a known strategy used by some really good players called abuse your passive, which is effectively die a lot, but then, of course, get a bit of extra damage in these fights with your strong passive. So maybe that's what HeaQ is aiming for. If he's under too much pressure, we will have to see. I do know some people have won.
You have to remember, HeaQ doesn't have as good a top laner as you do in your solo queue games. They don't have the Alawi going 0-10 that you have. It's going to be the Jayce and the Taliyah lock here for the Mysterious Monkeys, so a strong top laner for Kikis.
Right, and also the best pick for CozQ when we saw him last week was the Taliyah. Only game 5 was a bit rough for him, but before that he actually did well. And I think the Taliyah here, it serves a clear purpose, being there is a scaling AD carry in the bottom lane who can't escape walls. let's go to the bottom lane where there's an Ashe, a Rakan to start the fight, a Zac to jump over 500 different walls, and a Taliyah ulti to come down and actually kill HeaQ. So Mysterious Monkeys have a lot of ways of trying to snowball. There's even top lane with the Jayce. Technically, if you play Jayce versus Renekton, you're actually forced to play around the Jayce lane now, which might keep HeaQ safe. Let's see what happens in this game, because I feel like CozQ, he's going to be kind of pulled to both sides. Bot lane is yelling, hey, kill the hyper carry, and top lane is yelling, I'm Jayce versus Renekton. I need to snowball this lane. I need your help.
Is it that important for Kikis to snowball that lane in the top side?
You do not pick Jayce to go even in any lanes. His team fight is just too weak for that. You need to always get an early advantage for this pick to be successful. So when you play against a strong laner like Renekton, it does kind of force you, at least in the early game, to play around that lane.
These teams not even thus far. NIP have been 2-0 up in this best-of-5 series. They are 1 game away from securing a series against Schalke tomorrow. And Mysterious Monkeys 1 game away from being out of the EU LCS entirely.
Yeah, it's a long off season if you drop out of the LCS here for whichever team it ends up being. A lot of time where you're sitting and looking back at a split that was not very successful for you. NIP though, they're looking for that clean 3-0. Be a lot of confidence for them going into the game tomorrow against Schalke.
And it's important to stress how impactful that can be for them tomorrow, because Schalke have looked like they had NIP's number across the course of the promotion tournament. We're going to get onto Summoner's Rift. It's game 3 and perhaps the final game of this best-of-5.
We had about 1 million AD carry bans and still no Caitlyn showing up for NIP. They opted into this late game hyper carry. And of course HeaQ in the early game are not looking to be very aggressive. Your trades are based purely on your W cooldowns and just landing like multiple autos and then kind of step away. You're never really all inning with this lane. But Mysterious Monkeys, on the other hand, if they can get through the black shield, have so many ways of starting fights against the bottom lane of NIP. But early game, we might still see the Jayce focus instead. You do not want to have this Jayce falling behind against a Renekton. He will just get killed under his tower. There's not much he can do when a Gragas then shows up.
Just looking across HeaQ's history, neither in spring nor in summer did he play this Kog'Maw, already looking to get himself ahead as they force Dreams back, but minions have yet to spawn, which means that Dreams will just take the W at level 1, which is something most Rakans do anyway.
So back in base for him. Minions are on the way. He will be a little bit late for the early push, which is fine for NIP's bot lane. You take whatever advantage you can get. Up near the red buff here, Kikis is invading in just to be a bit annoying and didn't actually place a ward.
So we've got a Mysterious Monkeys lineup that really wants to engage, really wants to look for these fights, pick off that backline hyper carry. NIP, a little bit of a disengage, but how do they actually win fights later on? How do they actually play into this Mysterious Monkeys lineup?
For NIP, like a lot of it is keep HeaQ alive. It is very easy for him to single out whichever member it is on the side of Mysterious Monkeys, and if he's protected with black shields and, you know, knockbacks from Syndra and Gragas, he should be able to carry this game. But again, it is the kite back versus the hard engage. So it's always fun to watch these fights, because if Mysterious Monkeys can coordinate their engages, they should be able to get onto him. HeaQ, he can't make any mistakes in this game. Early game, mid game, late game, he needs to play flawlessly to make this pick work.
Has gone for the Doran shield in that bottom lane, as has Yuki. Interestingly, HeaQ's gone Storm Raider's Surge on the Kog'Maw, where Yuki's got the Warlord's Bloodlust.
I mean, this is actually something I noticed Sven did very early on, and I still think it is the best choice. You don't need additional damage from things like Fervor, so Storm Raiders literally just give you a bit of extra mobility, and it's very necessary because your entire damage output is auto-attack based. That extra mobility can either save you or get you in a better position to deal more damage. Black Shield coming in from Sprattel.
HeaQ puts the damage back onto Dreams, does use the Gleaming Quill to try and get himself some health back. Knock up onto Kikis as Shook looks for the gank up towards the top side. Stun as well. Red buff slow. Kikis trying to get away, will escape. 2 flashes burnt from NIP.
Kikis will take that one, but obviously sucks for him that he has to go back to base and TP early, giving Prophet a bit of an advantage, but 2 flashes gone in exchange for 1. Let's see if Amazing can abuse that. He's actually looking bot lane early on. Has not taken his blue buff yet. Very hard for him to gank the bot lane due to a black shield. Wants to get the Taliyah with him at level 6.
Looks like he's going up towards the top side now. His blue buff is there, so he can take that. Both junglers actually backing before doing their second buff of the rotation. And now that that flash is down on Prophet, you have to expect a little bit more pressure from the Mysterious Monkeys up towards the top side. HeaQ might look bot because Dreams and Yuki have been slightly on the back foot against Sprattel and HeaQ.
Well, so far the Jayce will be okay, and there's a good thing for Kikis that he doesn't have to instantly expect a double flash gank happening again. A little bit of time to actually get some vision down, and he will also have to rely on his jungler to keep him safe because there is a range advantage for Jayce. The problem is just the double slice from a Renekton means he can always close the gap. He can always get in range to actually stun you and win the trade.
Kikis and Amazing, of course, two players that were brought into the Mysterious Monkeys about week 4 of the split to try and bolster this squad, to try and set them up for success. And this is the time where your ringers, your big players have to step up and show just why they're worth the investment, because this is game 3. You're 2-0 down. You have to win this to have any opportunity of staying in the LCS.
So far, they're doing a great job protecting Kikis specifically and trying to set him up to succeed. The last 2 games, they actually did not play around Kikis. They did not set him up for success. They gave him losing tank matchups. He never got any assistance, and they took it too serious that camping for Kikis was maybe not the way to go for them, and it has left him to die in the side lane, and that was not the way to go either. HeaQ wants to return gank, but there are so many wards in this river from Mysterious Monkeys. It's allowing Kikis to play aggressive with his range advantage, and he's using it to push in Prophet for now.
HeaQ will spot out a couple of these control wards, so can clear them out and then look for a gank later on. CozQ's actually got quite a sizable advantage in the mid lane, has pushed Nagne back on this Taliyah, and has double Dorans and about a 10 CS lead.
Nagne definitely been missing a few CS in here. You're not supposed to get a big advantage like that on a Taliyah. Now level 6 is being hit, and that's where I want to see CozQ be super active, because top lane will call for him, bot lane will call for him. If you can use the first Taliyah ulti to force a flash from HeaQ, it's a very easy gank second time around, and it's on Mysterious Monkeys, as we mentioned earlier, to be proactive. Amazing is trying to gank the mid lane. Nagne with cleanse available will not help him that much, but of course can be used if he does get locked down.
CozQ did play this Taliyah 3 of the 5 matches last week and actually had strong performances on 2 of them. 4-0-3 and 6-2-8, setting up a lot of plays for his team. So I want to see a little bit more proactivity from him and more proactivity from Mysterious Monkeys in general, because if NIP scale up, it feels a bit like a reverse of game 1, where NIP were a team that had to play early, whereas now they're looking to scale later on.
Right, and NIP has shown today they are the better teamfighting team, at least so far. So that is not what you're looking for if you are Mysterious Monkeys. Dreams and Sprattel having a little bit of a poke war in the river. So far, we're still kind of waiting for levels and the first piece of action. Flashes will soon be ready again. A little bit of a binding.
HeaQ's going to land the body slam as well, but it's just a bit of harass on towards that Rakan.
So as you can see right now, HeaQ are getting free farm in the bottom lane. The Kog'Maw here is super focused on levels, because you just gotta rank up your W as fast as possible. That literally is your damage source. So for him, getting level 5 means his trades are better. 7 is a good spike. Now at level 9 as well is important. Like these, you know, every second level, key things for HeaQ in the early game if he wants to actually deal some serious DPS.
Sprattel's shown a willingness to roam around the map more than some other supports throughout the split, and actually has worked his way behind the Mysterious Monkeys here as well. No vision in that tri-bush. HeaQ there, but now here comes the hawk shot. HeaQ looking for the engage, won't land the body slam. And Dreams and Yuki are able to escape. Dark Binding does land onto Dreams, but he will just be able to trade into it. Prophet pops the Dominus in top. Kikis low on mana. There's the Ruthless Predator stun as well, and now Kikis needs to try and escape. Does have the flash. Trying to get around the wall. Prophet on the chase. Slice and dice, and the first blood to Prophet in the top lane.
And as we talked about here, the Jayce, yes, will have the range advantage, but it's so easy for Renekton, if he knows where everyone is on the map, to just dash towards this Jayce, and you will out-trade him in these all-ins, and Prophet abusing that. Flash used by Kikis as well, so you can even do this again with maybe HeaQ joining in, and it gets even easier for NIP, and they're now bot lane first.
Double body slam flash into the double knockback, the stun onto Sprattel, but he can dodge around. The Dark Binding lands onto Dreams, does have the flash, trying to get away as HeaQ sees if he can chase him down. HeaQ not quite in range, decides not to burn the flash. Now CozQ comes down with the Weaver's Wall to try and separate the fight.
He's just here to try and force NIP away. Let's see if he wants to flash forward and get a kill.
Flashes straight into the Binding. Sprattel with the Dark Shield keeps himself alive. The knockback onto HeaQ, but he will survive for a while as well until eventually CozQ with the roam takes him down.
All right, CozQ is saying, you know what, I need to start joining the side lanes. I need to be proactive in the early game, and Amazing, he wants to be proactive top.
Prophet, no flash, does have the Dominus, will trade onto Amazing, who just about gets away. Prophet doesn't actually have his ultimate, but is able to escape without having to burn any summoners.
Yeah, Prophet is able to abuse just the base damages of Renekton here. Early Ninja Tabby, going for HP as well, so he's actually fairly tanky, and still dealing enough damage in return to threaten Mysterious Monkeys. So Prophet doing a great job in this lane already. CozQ though, very important he joins the side lane. Very important he gets a kill as well for his troubles.
And he gets back into the lane on EUCS as well. Nagne's actually struggled on this Syndra. Perhaps would have been better suited with a tank in the mid lane, which it seems to have worked out a little bit better for him across the course of this series. NIP's solo laners have been their carries across the course of the EU LCS split, and Nagne needs to show us that he can be as effective on this Syndra as he is on a Galio or any other pick.
Any other pick.
Any other pick.
Teemo mid.
You have to be effective on all of the picks.
That's a rough life as a pro player.
Okay. You've got to have a champion ocean, Deficio. Can't just have a pool, especially with 10 bans. You can get isolated. And speaking of isolated, Dreams caught out with the Dark Binding. Takes a living artillery to the back.
On that note though, most professional teams, when they prepare for like new tournaments or new patches, they always try and focus on getting like 2 or 3 champions per player kind of locked in place, saying like, okay, these guys can now play these champions to almost perfection, like they were comfort picks for them, and then they start expanding. That is most teams. But then there are other players who like to have this like 10, 15 champion pool ocean, and Kikis used to be one of those guys where you saw in the start of the LCS split for him, like Aatrox was used all of a sudden. Like I was expecting Yorick to show up at some point, and he tried to surprise people that way, but he's gone completely away from that style and has focused much more on standard picks, which has not been as successful for Kikis as a player.
And CozQ is one of those players. 8 different champions played across the course of the EUCS split. Not an ocean, but definitely a small lake, at least. And Amazing Kikis trying to set up a gank up towards the top lane. They are focusing towards Kikis. They said they need to get him ahead. They need to be able to get him rolling in this lane, because Prophet's doing a good job in the pure 1v1.
CozQ's ulti is ready in just a few more seconds. Prophet needs to respect that. If he wants to play aggressive, they might try and execute a 3-man tower dive onto him with Taliyah, with Zac. Bot lane as well. There's no flash on HeaQ. That is an opening for Mysterious Monkeys. If you put that Taliyah wall behind HeaQ, he cannot escape. Problem for them is that Prophet sits with TP ready. Not available for Kikis. So if they do try and make a play bot lane, Prophet will join.
It feels to me quite a difficult composition to actually execute as well. CozQ
Look at this though.
Coming up towards the top lane.
Yeah, this might be the 3-man tower that we just mentioned before here. Good ward from Prophet, spotting Amazing, so they know what's happening. Nagne is trying to push another wave mid to force CozQ to return to lane, or he loses a wave of CS. And that was a successful play from Nagne's side.
Amazing was on a ward there up towards the top side as well, as Prophet now has his flashback available, so can perhaps escape a gank a little bit. Mysterious Monkey's vision control is strong in the river for the time being, and Nagne slowly working his way up here to try and counteract this 3-man gank. Here's Amazing. Elastic slingshot in, Prophet dodges with the slice, still has the flash, turning back onto Kikis. Here's Nagne and CozQ, the unleashed power to CozQ's base, half his health, and now Nagne goes down to half as well, dodges the seismic shove. Amazing is going to rejoin the fight, as is Dreams with the knock-up, the quickness. Nagne has the flash, he's ignited, he's going to fall. 1 kill already to the Mysterious Monkeys there, looking for more. Shook's on his way though, is he going to join the fight in time to stop the Mysterious Monkeys? A double knock-up into a barrel, the explosive cast is big. They do eventually kill CozQ, and it ends up being a 1-for-1 trade.
They got a 1-for-1 right there. Prophet managed to flash away in time, so he stayed alive, but nice little fight. We get that 3-man play from Mysterious Monkeys and even get joined by Dreams to try and guarantee that 1 kill, but it's still a 1-for-1, where Mysterious Monkeys end up investing a lot of resources and time up top. And Amazing was sitting here for quite a while. Prophet said, okay, Nagne is coming, I'll take the fight. But then, of course, the Taliyah ulti comes in, so Nagne can't really join in and try and kill Amazing or Kikis, needs to deal with CozQ, and this is where the dodges and everything is fine, but when Dreams joins, it's 4v2. So the fact that NIP only lose 1 member is, again, a small win, because everyone else got to reset. The bot lane got to reset, and Shook returns, obviously, to this lane here, and did not have to invest that much to actually secure the kill. The flash was a little bit unnecessary, but you played safe.
Make sure you get the 1-for-1 trade. Gives time for HeaQ as well to continue farming up in the bottom lane. He's going towards that Guinsoo's Rage Blade. 108 CS on him, almost completed it as well. We have seen a Morello Nomicon for Nagne. No first completed item for CozQ yet.
CozQ though, with the item still enough damage to still take down one of the squishes in the sides. He's actually gone bot lane, secured a kill, gone top lane, been part of a kill as well. So we can't really fault CozQ for not being active enough. His ulti is soon ready again, and he's already looking for another roam.
And they know Prophet doesn't have flash as well, so they can look up towards this top side. They are trying to get Kikis ahead. Nagne and Shook are on their way, but they're not close enough. Prophet trying to dodge around. Dodges the seismic shove. Bilgewater Cutlass slows him down. Prophet so low. The threaded body. The Cold and Meek is huge. Now CozQ is going to be caught out, but amazing has been the isolated target here for NIP. They'll take him into the cell division and eventually take him out.
They keep trading just 1 for 1 because Mysterious Monkeys, they keep going to the Jayce lane as they are supposed to do. But NIP is reading it every single time. They're like, yes, we know you're going to kill Prophet again. We will join. And then they get another 1 for 1. First time Prophet dies, so he's actually done a great job surviving all the pressure. And NIP, while all this is happening, have a scaling hyper carry, just being happy that no one wants to kill him.
And they're looking for Rift Herald as well because they know that Mysterious Monkeys have backed away. However, first tower is on the cards for the Mysterious Monkeys if Yuki can push up with this next wave. It is a possibility, although perhaps not a probability.
I think NIP are fine losing first tower to still get some damage on top tower and get the Rift Herald for a bigger reward later. See if maybe they can get 2 towers for the trade of 1.
And it's the first time we've seen these two teams so close at the 15-minute mark. Usually it's about a 2,000 gold lead for NIP at this point. At the moment, it's only about 1,000 gold for Mysterious.
And it's the first time in the series we see them play around Kikis again. 0-1-2, so yes, they haven't been able to like fully snowball him, but they seem more comfortable when it's like, yes, let's go topside. Let's actually try and enable some of these tower dives. This play here is Prophet just staying alive again. Their last heal, surprisingly, the Mysterious Monkeys just a little bit, and they take so much damage they can't really help Amazing. After you can see everyone is kind of like, yeah, peace out, Zach, you're done.
We're going to see Mountain Drake as well in the corner of your screens, going across towards the Mysterious Monkeys. They trade this for the Rift Herald and for some damage on that top tower. They did get the first tower blood as well.
Right, so NIP needs to get the top lane tower down to even out the tower trade, and then use the Rift Herald to trade that for the Mountain Drake. Otherwise, it was a bad trade for them, and this tower will die, so far so good. They still have the Rift Herald. They can use either mid or bot lane to secure another objective. And then it's always just a question of, do you value the Drakes or the turrets? Oh, Kikis is trying to stop it.
Does lose the tower, goes very aggressive, but didn't actually have to burn anything for that, whereas we see the exhaust and the ultimate out from Sprattel.
Got the tower though, which is the important one for NIP. This is a tempo advantage for Mysterious Monkeys with their lane swap. Arrow is shot. Let's see if the Black Shield is in time.
Hit straight onto Sprattel. Kikis can engage. Flash in, knocked down to the sky, says Kikis. And back to Fountain goes Sprattel.
When you're trying to just be a good support, Black Shield your AD carry instead of yourself, and then you get the arrow in the face. Feels bad.
It's what we want to see from Mysterious Monkeys, though. They need to take the initiative. They need to make these catches if they're going to be able to stop NIP from scaling up. They're going to TP down towards the bottom lane as well. This is Kikis joining up with Amazing, the deadly duo, perhaps. Unable to catch out Prophet for now, and Nagne comes down as well, which means Prophet will walk away.
Yeah, TP used by Kikis right there is pretty huge for NIP to try and create more side lane pressure. They're actually going straight for mid top because CozQ just recalled. He was sitting on about 60% mana and HP and didn't kill another wave before going back to base. So this is a very easy push from NIP. And you can't just recall without first clearing the wave, especially when the enemy team is sitting with Rift Herald. That was just a very easy tower.
Yeah, and puts them 1,000 gold ahead as well. NIP still scaling up with this composition, starting to complete those first sets of items. And the Mysterious Monkeys have shown us that they have the ability to make a pick, the ability to make a proactive play, but we need to see more of that before we get into the late game, before NIP fully scale towards this hyper carry cog.
Yeah, it is definitely still in NIP's favor that it is such an even early game, that they have been trading so many kills. We saw that 2 tower for 1 tower and a Mountain Drake trade before. I like that for NIP because getting gold is what they need to reach the late game for HeaQ. Drakes, that's a bonus. Gold is the necessity. And that's what they're aiming for with the play we saw before. Still though, Kikis, Play the Rune King is completed. He's been able to get a kill as well now. He will be a bit of a threat in the side lane, especially on turrets. He can take them down very fast. And This might be one of those games where there's just a lot of gold traded back and forth because it is just a lot of tower trading. Because Prophet, he will get the bot lane tower soon, at least try.
And Mysterious Monkeys will be wary about taking a full-on engage as well, because the times they've done that in the past across this series, it hasn't worked out for them. NIP have looked like the better team-fighting team across the course of these last 2 games. So
if you are Mysterious Monkeys, you're hoping that Nagne is stuck in the mid lane and you fight in the side lanes and your Taliyah can join from the mid lane. They're actually rushing for another turret. NIP here very slow to react and getting caught with the pants down.
It's not the position you want to be in at all, the Mysterious Monkeys.
Unless you're into that kind of stuff, but...
The thing is about that, Deficio, I think everyone's into their pants being down, unless you're into, like, having your clothes on all of the time. And I know sometimes I need to shower, sometimes I need to, you know, get changed.
You can shower with your clothes on. I'm saying you can.
It probably explains some of the smell that's coming from your portion of the desk. But NIP would get 1 tower in response for the 2 from the Mysterious Monkeys. The gold is still incredibly even between these 2 teams, even though Mysterious Monkeys have been seeming to get the better side of trades recently.
It just makes me excited, though, that we have towers being traded. We have an open map now. We have CozQ on this Taliyah, who's been successful already in this game. If he's able to push out mid lane and once again be a threat in one of the sides, he can keep playing around Kikis and make life really hard for Prophet.
Nagne's getting to the point where an Unleashed Power does a lot, though. The Seismic Shove will knock him back. Here comes the engage, the quickness. Nagne, the arrow actually tanked by HeaQ, and that is great for NIP if they want to re-engage. The knockback, Sprattel, Prophet, and HeaQ on the run. HeaQ flashes in, Dreams getting locked out, and Prophet will stun him up. Another kill for Prophet on the Renekton, and NIP able to turn the engage around. The
massive model of Gragas in favor of NIP right there. That arrow was aimed for Nagne. That was supposed to be a kill on the Syndra, but Gragas takes it. Prophet managed to force a flash as well, so this is exactly what NIP are looking for. Grouped up together. Don't even need the AD carry yet. He's still farming in the side lane every time we see this. So let's see the fight. Nagne takes a lot of damage. Great knockback from CozQ. Good engage as well from Dreams. And that arrow straight on to HeaQ. The junk in the trunk paying off for the Gragas.
And you have to give credit to both sides, because Nagne went for the engage, CozQ turned it around, a good early heal meant that he didn't get the grievous wounds, and then Nagne cleanse flashes straight away when the quickness hits. So it's actually very well-balanced play from these 2 mid laners. CozQ seem to have Nagne's number a little bit this game, and Mysterious Monkey, they're going for the Baron.
That blue trigger came up very quickly. They're TPing in. NIP, they're fighting this one.
Mysterious Monkeys with the Baron play. 3rd game of the series. It's a best of 5. Nagne off towards the side, has the blast cone to jump in. He steals it!
That's a tilde.
There are no words to explain how Mysterious Monkeys are feeling right now, but I will darn well try. That is the sort of play that you feel today is just not your day. Today is the day you lose your position in the EU LCS because you just got outsmited by a scatter the week.
So Zach's smite deals 640 damage. And Nagne's combo right there, he got a bit more off than just a little knockback. Definitely dealt a lot of damage with it. Not trying to make pure excuses here, but it was definitely a closer call between them than maybe what we've seen before. It wasn't like a Janna tornado or something.
Credit goes, of course, to Nagne. No vision in the pit as well. And this is...
So they see them all recall. I actually like this call a lot from the Monkeys. They have a walk behind as well. Nagne should not be allowed to just walk up and hit it. Let's see the HP of the Baron. 544 is when it comes in. It was 700 before. Amazing smite deals 640. So he was waiting actually for the correct moment. And that's when the nuke came in from Syndra and killed it. I personally do not want to blame Amazing for that one.
I don't think you can. I don't think you can ever blame a jungler when it's a 50-50 like that, especially when you're playing against the Lord of the Pit, Nagne. He knows every nook and cranny of that Baron pit, and now he's set NIP in such a good position to even keep scaling up if they want to.
Yeah, because that kind of situation where it's just a one single champion walking up to do this, like, Dreams needs to just sacrifice his life. Literally just dash out on the Syndra with no flash and just stop Nagne from actually doing his full combo. It can also be a knockback from CozQ, it can be Kikis, you know, whatever it is. You need to make sure the Syndra does not get a full combo on the Baron across the wall in a 1v5.
Credit to NIP. Good steal. commiserations to Mysterious Monkeys, was a good call at the start.
Yes,
so
it was.
give them credit for that. How do Mysterious Monkeys now react? Because they are staring down the barrel of a 3-0 defeat.
It's so hard, man. Like, how do you react to this as a team? They know that they still have a bit of time where they can fight. Like, HeaQ is not even sitting on 2 fully completed items. We're still early in the game. You need to just try and defend and stop the bleeding. Wait for Baron to run out and then go back to playing like you did before. Look for these aggressive engages. Try and put Kikis in the side lane and see maybe if Taliyah can make a 2v1 play with him or just engage on HeaQ. But you gotta defend first, and stopping a Baron buff this early in the game is extremely difficult.
Mysterious Monkeys trying to do that in the mid lane. 5-man stack as NIP push down the front door.
Yeah, if you look at top lane, that wave is not pushing very fast. Bot lane, that wave is really far away from the turrets. So all NIP can do is go mid. And this is actually where Mysterious Monkeys can buy some time.
Just need to defend this for the time being. CozQ's going to come back. Had a good game thus far this matchup on the Taliyah. Has the Liandry's now. They'll give up 1 tower. NIP knocking on the door of the EU LCS. Still 1 series away, but Baron buff about to expire. Dreams down to half. NIP taking a bit of poke as well from Kikis. The Mysterious Monkeys able to hold on to this game for the time being.
So, not the end of the world for Mysterious Monkeys. Terrible situation to be in, 100%. That was your Baron. You were supposed to use that Baron to get the gold advantage on your side. However, after everything has happened, you look at it and say, okay, they lost the mid lane tower, they lost the gold from the Baron, but that was it. So they're still in a situation where they can win this game. And they're obviously not looking to go full late game. It's getting harder and harder. But a few good fights in a row from them, and they're right back in this one.
Well, let's evaluate exactly the situation they're in. We're starting to see 2 item spikes being hit for the Mysterious Monkeys. You've got an Ardent Sensor on your Rakan, you've got a Phantom Dancer and an Essence Reaver. You have a Warmogs completed on Amazing as well. They are getting to these points where they've got some very strong carries.
Exactly, and you know, you look at Amazing here, just stacking pure HP on the Zac, trying to be as hard to kill as possible. His entire job is go in, look for either Nagne or HeaQ first, and if he manages to connect onto any of them, set up someone like Kikis to get a shock buzz from the side, knockback from CozQ, and then these 2 squishies, they will die. And that's kind of the key thing here. Here's Amazing going in.
Jumping onto HeaQ, the Black Shield keeps him up. There's the seismic shot, the arrow doesn't connect, and now NIP look for the re-engage. Shook jumps in, doesn't land the barrel, hits onto CozQ, the charm comes down, the quickness. NIP coming in from the side with the flank, CozQ knocked back, HeaQ pounding out the damage, and now CozQ flashes straight into Profit. 2 members of the Mysterious Monkeys fall, and NIP are in a superb spot to push down mid.
The Monkeys failed the execution right there. Everything misses after the engage happened from Amazing, and NIP with a quick turnaround. Good binding from Sprattel as well onto CozQ, making life a little bit easier for Shook. And then a nice flank as well from Nagne and Profit. They get a few more kills. They're pushing in for this inhib turret.
HeaQ starting to absolutely shred through that front line as well. This will be the inhib tower falling and the inhibitor alongside it. CozQ up in 16 seconds will mean that NIP are unable to push for the win yet, but they can taste that series tomorrow already.
And they already know their composition is so good the further we go into the game, so they're feeling great. Let's see the engage. I think it's fine what Amazing is doing here as soon as he sees the Black Shield. If you can't break it with CozQ's Taliyah, well then you obviously need to land the skill shots onto the Morgana and actually take her down. But Sprattel stayed alive. Then a nice binding from him onto the Taliyah as well. And now the kite back is not really possible because you're getting flanked first of all. And then you already lost your mid laner because he got hit by a long-range binding.
Kikis has caught out Profit. He's going to try and dodge his way around. Amazing gets the knockback. Profit misses the flash. And that's what the Mysterious Monkeys need. They're 4,000 gold behind. But if they can get these catches, perhaps they can work a way back into the game. Oh
yeah, you'll take every single kill you can get at this point in the game. Taliyah with 2, Kikis with 2 as well, so it is on some of the important carries. And I'd be setting up a little brush play here in case the Monkeys are walking down to set up for Infernal Drake, but they're looking towards Baron instead. 30 seconds. At 20 minutes, they rushed it. They lost it, but they did rush to Baron. They're ready to do it again. Kikis fighting against Nagne, though.
Does have Mercury Treads and a No Magic Mantle. Nagne actually taking the worst side of the trade. Here comes Shook with the Righteous Glory. Kikis in the wrong place at the wrong time as Shook looks for the body slam. Kikis tries to turn it back around, but Nagne is dodging just at the edge of his abilities, and Kikis is eventually going to fall to Shook.
He's smiling. Look at the player cam. He knows. He knows.
It's a zoning ult, Deficio. It's a zoning ult.
He was actually delaying the kill so that Drake and Baron will both be alive when Kikis die.
Exactly, and it's an Infernal Drake as well. It will be NIP's second of the game, and in previous games we've said it hasn't been that important to get an Infernal, but when you've got a Syndra, when you've got a Kog'Maw, when you've got a Renekton, you want that Infernal Dragon.
Yeah. I mean, you love to get that Drake right now, and NIP after can start setting up for Baron, and then they're suddenly the ones, you know, with the vision. They can't see that same play happen where Baron gets rushed down by the monkey. So again, they can kind of control the tempo of the game. HeaQ and HeaQ secures this Drake. 2.5 items now for HeaQ. Zeal item finally coming in for him as well. And it's been a game where HeaQ basically didn't have to do anything. He's just been farming for like 28 minutes, and then it's all about the top side.
But that's where Mysterious Monkeys put the pressure as well. You have to give credit to Prophet actually coming out basically even in a lane where he was camped a huge amount. Look at that damage from Kikis.
Exactly, like it's been Kikis being aggressive on top side with backup, Prophet taking all the damage and had to just stay alive, and then it's been Nagne trying to follow CozQ to top lane as well and join a lot of these different fights. So you can see 7,000 damage only for HeaQ so far. That will later on probably be way higher, and he's probably going to be the #1 damage dealer in the game if he goes into late game. But we're still only at 29 minutes, and as we said before here, it's NIP setting up the vision control. They're the ones now actually controlling the Baron, and Mysterious Monkeys, they're the ones looking for that blind engage.
Or a blind steal as well. We've seen it happen before for the Mysterious Monkeys. Engage with the Dark Binding onto Amazing. Prophet steps forward. It's a tanky Renekton on that front line, and although HeaQ only has 2.5 completed items, he's also got a Knight's Vow, he's also got an Ardent Censer, he's also got a Mikhail. He is basically a 5-item Kog'Maw at the moment.
Basically.
That's how it works,
They're
right?
baiting, they didn't want to start it, they were just standing there like, pretending they were. It is Amazing in the front though, so NIP are not finding their engage, and the side lanes are not really in their favor, so they're not applying any pressure through minions just yet.
Those small choke point fights actually might be in favor of the Mysterious Monkeys. You've got quickness, you've got the Taliyah as well, lots of zone control there. NIP looking for the engage as the Weaver's Wall comes out. It's Prophet in the front line, perhaps a bit of a force. The arrow comes out, hits onto Prophet. Amazing says, let's bounce, brings Prophet back into the midst, and that's already Prophet dead. Mysterious Monkeys able to make a catch as NIP hard engage in the mid lane.
Right there, important kill for Mysterious Monkeys. Prophet and NIP kind of lost the patience and just said, we just want to fight no matter what, and that was a very forced engage from the Renekton. NIP do not need to force anything. They can keep playing slow. Yet that actually might give NIP some trouble because Mysterious Monkeys, they're on the Baron. They can start it. There's still 25 seconds on Prophet. TP is available for the following fight. So if Mysterious Monkeys do not start it soon, then it's too late.
Okay, here we go. They're starting it up. There's lots of wards for that TP engage. The quickness hits onto HeaQ. They're trying to take down the jungler before anything else can happen, but that is a dead Rakan, and now it's a 4v4. CozQ no mana as well. The Mysterious Monkeys realize that, and they will retreat from the Baron. A 4,000 gold lead for NIP, but the later we get into this game, the more NIP's composition comes online.
And now it's NIP right back in the driving seat. They're actually able to start the Baron.
Was vision here. NIP start it up. CozQ's backing, doesn't have the TP. No Weaver's Wall for him either to join the fight. And this is going to be a Baron for NIP. Amazing, not even looking for the miracle steal. NIP, second Baron of the game, 30 minutes in. 5,000 gold ahead, and perhaps that Game 3 victory is within their grasp.
It is looking very, very likely. Mysterious Monkeys most likely broken at this point. It is super tough to find your way back in this game.
I don't want to doubt your predictions, Deficio, but in Game 1, you told me that Mysterious Monkeys would win all of the late game team fights.
I thought a late game Vladimir could kill an Ashe. That's what I thought, but apparently I was wrong. Instead, Prophet with his double Infernal Drakes and his late game hyper carry probably should win this game. Notice I put in properly, so I can always be like, oh, I said properly.
It's custom mechanics right there. Making it so that you can always go back on your word if you need to. Something that NIP don't want to do is go back through this series. They're already 2 games up. They do not want a reverse sweep in the cards. Mysterious Monkeys will be praying for it at the moment because perhaps that is all they can do. Pray to the gods of Summoner's Rift to get them some way back into this game.
NIP pushing in that mid lane here, open inhib, they can actually try and take down Mysterious Monkeys. They really want to see if they can find a good engage with Amazing, but it is so difficult. This was the wall from Taliyah. There was flash available for HeaQ though to use in case.
Because he got on top of it, the Black Shield did do something. HeaQ here, the quickness comes in. They're going all in on the Gragas, but that's not the target you want. Here comes Prophet from the side. CozQ trying to isolate. HeaQ so low. Kikis can't quite finish him off. Prophet now the new target for the Mysterious Monkeys, but he is a massive alligator in that front line. CozQ knocked up. HeaQ flashes forward. Prophet kills Dreams, and perhaps is the nightmare that Mysterious Monkeys have been trying to avoid. NIP, 1-for-1 trade. They cannot go any further, but they can look for that mid lane inhibitor.
Poor HeaQ had to just run and try and follow his top laner, who was diving deep for the kills. Couldn't really get in a good position to actually be a big carry, and they do get the mid inhib. NIP will at least get something for their trouble. Can go back and catch that big wave in the side, and this really has been a game where as soon as laning phase ended, the side lanes just stopped mattering. It's just been 5-on-5 around the mid lane. This wall idea is very good from CozQ, but HeaQ does get out in time, and of course HeaQ will take a lot of damage because of it.
Perhaps sort of just flashed a little bit earlier because he does make Prophet commit into this fight here, and CozQ's zoning a lot.
Yeah, good zoning from him, and Prophet sees that one kill right in front of him, so he wants to keep going for it. The rest of NIP doesn't really get to rejoin the fight. HeaQ even trying to flash for it, doesn't get enraged, but that flash is now down. Mysterious Monkeys, they have like one fight left if they want to stay in the LCS, or even have a chance of staying in the LCS. Next fight, no flash on HeaQ. You have your Taliyah ulti. It needs to land. Otherwise, NIP will win the fight. They will make sure they take this 3-0 and they can play Schalke tomorrow. What
a discouraging position they would be in if they weren't able to get it. The engage does happen. The quickness comes out. Dream's so squishy on that front line. NIP looking for the re-engage. The Mysterious Monkeys run away because this is a third Infernal for NIP if they start it up. Dreams, look at how low he is, and look at Nagne on the flank. All he has to do is land one Q. Dreams are dead, and perhaps NIP are going to the series tomorrow. Mysterious Monkeys on a full retreat. The unleashed power, a double for Nagne. Mysterious Monkeys have nothing left in the tank. Kick is dead. NIP devastating. NIP dominating, and the Mysterious Monkeys destroyed.
3-0 NIP. What a great performance this week compared to last week. They struggled. They didn't know what to draft, but they've had 3 good pick and ban phases so far, and they've been able to execute them as well. I love how Prophet handled the pressure in the top lane, and then Nagne's performance once again on this Syndra here, showing up big time and being a massive carry for NIP.
One split in the LCS for both these teams. Both bought in at the start of summer. Both looked like perhaps they could challenge, but NIP are going to be the victors today. The Mysterious Monkeys bow out as NIP earn one last shot to salvage their season.
And we have to remember, Medic, NIP did not play Schalke yet. It was Giants who knocked him into the losers bracket. Giants have already qualified for the LCS. Giants beat Schalke earlier today. So NIP will go into that game, face a new opponent with a lot of confidence. You just 3-0. It's kind of weird. How do you react after that game? Because you technically didn't re-qualify yet, but you just stopped yourself from falling out of the LCS. But still, the confidence is there now for NIP going into the series tomorrow.
Especially since Schalke struggled against Mysterious Monkeys last week. It was a 5-match series. It was 3-2 in favor of Schalke. NIP, after beating Mysterious Monkeys 3-0, will take a lot of confidence into it.
Yeah, good adaptations from them. You know, as we said, much better pick and ban phase. Both soul laners showed up, and HeaQ, a man we kind of questioned last week, had great games. All 3 of them very impactful early game, able to actually counter gank quite a lot, and then be also very useful in the later stages of the game on Jarvan, or in this game Gragas here. So a lot of good things for NIP after this series, and we get such an exciting game tomorrow for that last LCS spot. Sadly though for the Mysterious Monkeys, losing 3-0 means that you are out of the LCS.
Yeah, a meteoric rise last split, and then a very rapid fall as well for them. And you can see it's devastating for them as well, especially players like EUCS and CozQ, who this was their shot. You know, EUCS played with Misfits, got kicked out of the team when they got into the LCS, and then came up with Misfits Academy and was able to make it on an LCS team. Actually, one of the top performers for his team throughout the split, one of the most consistent players.
I think actually EUCS during the LCS season did really well. Didn't have a lot to work with, but still had some standout late game fights, which was very impressive. So it is a super, super tough situation to be in, where You work hard to get in the LCS, you get one split. You try to even make roster changes to save the situation. It worked for a little bit, and then it kind of went downhill once again, and you find yourself back in the Challenger Series. And I feel sorry for them, but that is what happens in competition. Yeah. If you're just not good enough, you get knocked out.
You get one shot, you shouldn't miss your chance. NIP have sent the Mysterious Monkeys down to Challengers with a dominant 3-0 win. Let's head it over to our analyst desk to wrap up the day.
Thank you very much, Benedict. And now, looking back at this series, I feel like there's a lot of people we have to praise on the side of NIP, but I want you to bear with me. Stress, I want you to cast your mind back to the first Avengers movie.
Oh,
right?
Okay, I'm on.
We're sitting in the middle of Asteroid City. Our Avengers, in this case NIP, are standing there. Our Captain America, Nico the Pico, is listing off roles, telling everyone what to do in presumably a wacky and enjoyable way. He's like, hey, Sprattel, you're going to engage. Hey, you over there, HeaQ, you're going to stand in the back and AShe, and they're going to try to kill you. We're not going to let them. Nagne, you're going to do some really cool stuff. You're going to make that happen. And Prophet, smash. And like, dude, Prophet went off this series. Like, we have to praise this man. I was so... I thought this guy, like, we came in with the SKT hype. I thought he was super mediocre over the course of the split. But in this series, Prophet played like a god. This man was unstoppable.
He played so good, we just showed you Nagne stealing the Baron. Everything's been great about it, I feel like. Prophet, in this series specifically, held a lot of pressure from that top lane. We expected Amazing and Kikis to be looking towards top side. He just kind of weathered everything and turned things back around. Like, okay, he had Renekton in 2 games in a row, but this guy has been looking great. The mentality of NIP went from solo carry Prophet to, okay, just win the early game, give us the basis to get the rest of our team through the game, and then we can start playing the team game. That's the evolution of NIP over the last few weeks, and it's the one that has been successful for them.
Nagne's Thor, in case you were wondering. And obviously fantastic play from Nagne. It was like a hotly contested vote between Prophet and Nagne for who was going to come out on top, but the solo laners played fantastically. Feels like HeaQ also set them up for success completely. Prophet is, however, going to be our player of the series. Cannot praise him enough, but at the end of the day, I think what surprised me was how good the entire team played. Of course, the Kog'Maw in the last game for HeaQ, maybe not the most indicative of his performance, just because he didn't really need to do anything.
Right.
All the team fights were won by other members of the team, but the AShe performances coming in earlier were also just really good for him.
Yeah, the rest of it, a lot of cleanup came, some of the damage came through. I think it's very interesting to see this NIP now, because even over the last couple of weeks, it's been a roller coaster. Beating Fnatic, then losing games, being down into the losers bracket now of the promotion tournament. Like, it has been the wildest of rides.
If you're superstitious, you think that I think Casters caused this, because we came in today and we're like, we've probably overestimated NIP, guys. We've done it. They beat Fnatic. There's no way it's going to happen again. They're crumbling. They're falling apart. And then they 3-0 Mysterious Monkeys. The second we doubt them, they come back. And now I'm wondering if they can show us the same level of performance moving forward.
Well, if we are superstitious, we'll say no, because then tomorrow maybe they'll be a little bit better. Even to the point where I'm like, I don't want to jinx a 3-0 by changing my prediction, right? Which obviously has no basis in analysis. But
superstition gone too far.
Yeah, exactly. You look at this NIP series, you say, okay, they addressed the strengths of Mysterious Monkeys over the last week. They were able to draft well around what usually do, get Prophet a winning matchup on the top side. The AD carry bans didn't phase HeaQ, and Yuki just wasn't a threat in the team fights. Like, those key areas, not even talking about Nagne, just meant that NIP were well prepared for this series today.
Definitely look good for them. Well, NIP earned themselves one last chance tomorrow against Schalke. Let's go over to QuickShot, who's ready with their jungler and support.
Thank you very much. Yes, I am joined by HeaQ and Sprattel. First and foremost, congratulations on the win. We were just chatting a little bit before, coming to the interview, and Sprattel, bittersweet is words that you said. Why is it a bittersweet feeling picking up the 3-0 today?
I think it's like just the fact that one team got like relegated. That's like sad in a way, you know. But also the fact that it's like Kikis and Amazing, and we kind of took their spot, you know. Like it shouldn't make it weird or like awkward, but it actually like it kind of sucks for them, honestly. Like I feel bad for them, really.
How do you feel after the win, HeaQ? You know, you sat down and said it's a strange feeling.
Of course, we're happy that we won, but we still have like a big match to win tomorrow. We obviously, we're happy with today, but like we're not there yet, so we can't get too happy just yet, and just focus on tomorrow.
You really made it look quite easy today against Mysterious Monkeys. Didn't look the same for either NIP or your Mysterious Monkeys last week against the Challenger squads. So are these two challenger teams, Schalke and Giants, significantly better than NIP or MM?
I just think we played a whole lot better than we did against Giants. I think we're better than all teams in promos. So I think we have a good shot tomorrow. But I think Monkeys was probably the weakest team going into here. And yeah, it showed today.
Yeah, it really did. What was it specifically, Sprattel, in your mind that allowed you guys to 3-0? Let's ignore the Nagne Baron steal, because that was pretty sick. But generally and just holistically as a team, you guys looked and felt so much better. Why is that?
I honestly think like drafting last week was just, it was not there, you know. So I think we actually like had a good, like we basically spent more time on drafting than actually scrimming this week, which helped. So we had like comfortable drafts. We had like clear win conditions, especially game 1 and 2. We actually knew exactly what to do. So it's easy to play the game as well when you actually like, you go into the game and you just say like, okay, let's do this, 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 and then you just grab the win, you know. So that's the biggest difference for sure.
Did you expect Giants to take down Schalke today, knowing that you guys were feeling a good place? You know, how did you think that result played out?
I didn't really like think that much about their match. I really thought it was like 50-50, and it came down to like game 5. So it's kind of expected. Like I think they're pretty even. Like they have a lot of things to work on, and like so do we, of course. But like they're not like perfect teams by any means. So I think it's like it really comes down to draft a lot, and I think yeah, they kind of decided the series.
All right, let's take a look towards tomorrow now. It could be the last series of the year in a good way or a bad way, right? You either requalify for LCS or get relegated. So Shook, with less than 24 hours to prepare, mentally, how difficult is that now adjusting and going into tomorrow's match?
I think we're mentally quite ready. Like we know if we have a good draft, if we play how we used to play in scrims, that we have a good chance against everyone. So I think we're just going to go in with a good game plan, like good drafts, and just hope to bring it home.
Hope to bring it home. Sprattel, last question before we head back up to the analyst desk. Playing tomorrow against Schalke, what would it mean to you to also knock them out?
I mean, it would be nice to just survive for NIP. Like, it's mostly for NIP, honestly. Like, Schalke is a great organization, so, I mean, I don't want them to win, you know, but I wouldn't be too, like, down if it actually came down to that, but I want NIP to stay, and we're going to stay for sure, I think.
Well, we're going to stay for sure. We're going to find out tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Congratulations, guys, on the win today. Best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
We're going to head back up to the analyst desk to wrap up the day.
Definitely is crunch time coming in for those guys. NIP and Schalke now gearing up for that final battle tomorrow, with the winner securing a spot alongside the best in Europe, a place in the LCS. And got to be honest, Stress, they're very calm, but I wonder how the rest of the team is feeling. I wonder how HeaQ is feeling, because this crunch time, one day to prepare, I feel like that has to be so much pressure.
Yeah, a lot of pressure, especially considering NIP just basically gave away the fact that they worked on drafting and had some draft patterns that may have been a little bit exposed today. I wouldn't say in a bad way exposed, but obviously when everything is on the line, you want to put your best foot forward. That's what NIP did, come out with the 3-0. Now both teams have to adapt very quickly going into tomorrow's series. Schalke against NIP, I think, honestly, Schalke will have a better late game and mid game than MM showed today, and I think that has to be something that NIP need to be very aware of. And I don't know whether you can actually be prepared for that overnight.
Well, you're casting it, so I won't ask for a prediction. But we will look back on the series that we saw earlier today as Giants got their spot in the EU LCS back, taking down Schalke, forcing them now in this matchup versus NIP. But that series went all the way to a Game 5 and was incredibly back and forth.
Yeah, really fun series as well, coming through from Giants and Schalke. Of course, Mini Trupac, so many people were talking about him as this big carry, and he did step up in a bunch of the games, but we also saw Jizuki carrying really hard, Gilius having great performances. Honestly, both teams had at least near LCS performances. When you look at their way of playing out the games in which they won looked very convincing. And I think that is what makes tomorrow's match so difficult to kind of predict as well.
You know, it excites me too because we did see adaptation over the course of the series, and that really made me happy because we saw the Galio pick be both, you know, the Achilles heel and the greatest strength for some of these teams across the game. We also saw a bit of experimentation. We saw that Vayne coming in, and I like that these teams are showing that they're more comfortable to adapt in best of 5. It may not have always been the right choice, but they're willing to experiment and try things, and I feel like that is going to be a big boon for Schalke when they're going up against NIP, who has, as you already mentioned, kind of prepared a bunch of different stuff, has a bunch of draft strategies ready, and probably will have even more coming into tomorrow.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the bottom lane has seen so many bans, and both Schalke and NIP look very prepared to bring out some of these more unorthodox ones. Not quite as much as the Vayne we saw from Giants earlier today.
In the words of Deficio, I hope we never see Vayne again, just as a side note.
But I think that's where a lot of focus is going to be for tomorrow. Upset versus HeaQ as part of a big matchup. Smitty J against Prophet, also super hype matchup.
Oh, I'm so excited for Nagne.
Oh, and yeah, of course.
Nagne Cajal. Gotta be ready. There's so many matchups to look forward to, but remember that there's more on the line this week as the EU LCS semifinals get underway with Misfits Gaming versus Fnatic and H2K versus G2. Stress, any immediate predictions? Is this just gonna be the G2 Fnatic final that everybody's expecting? Are we writing the script at this point because it's the old Kings versus the new, and you have to wonder if people are just going to start to think that?
It's been building all year, Dracos. It's been building. We wrote it in January. No, 3-1 Fnatic, and then 3-2 G2.
Damn.
Is my predictions.
3-2. G2 may be struggling against H2K, but still both the old Kings and the new coming through. We'll find out this weekend as the semifinals get started. But that was all from us here in Berlin tonight. Thank you for joining us. And tomorrow, Schalke and NIP go head-to-head for that last spot in the EUCS. You do not want to miss it. Have a great night, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Giants were knocked down to the Challenger Series